Hi, Paul Salvatore, president of the club. Lynn Pellegrini, women's auxiliary president. Chris Cody. This is the third update on the club's progress during this terrible epidemic. Paul, just a couple questions. Please open up with an update on where you see this epidemic going.
Yeah, I think if you look at the latest figures, the U.S. figures about 782,000 cases with about 41,000 deaths. Connecticut has about 19,815 cases with 1,331 deaths. Fairfield County and New Haven County, if you look at those, they're showing signs of decreasing in the number of cases. The increase in cases is slowing down, so they've kind of peaked and it looks like they're slowing down. Hartford County, however, is still increasing in its caseloads. The club that continues to be closed, Brian continues to oversee the club and its closure, and he's working on some specific projects. He's doing a number of outside projects like pruning the trees out front, working on the bocce court maintenance, our grapevines, getting them ready for the fall. And one of the big things he's going to be doing is cleaning the bar area as well as our walk-in storage cooler, ice machine, refrigerator, and stand-up cooler in the bar area. So we're going to do deep cleaning of that whole area.
Now, Paul, we all know one of your pet peeves is cleaning. Will anyone be assisting Brian during this cleaning process? Is it Stuart? Is it some of the bar managers?
Yeah, good question, because we want to keep the number of people limited that are getting into the club to keep the club safe and all. But Russell Rich and Ed Mateo, both bar managers, will be helping Brian. Don't know if all three of them are going to be working on the same day. Brian's going to coordinate it, but we're going to make sure we have the proper equipment and protection for everyone in that cooler area. I don't think it's ever been done, at least in my time, it hasn't.
So Paul, one last question. As far as opening up the club, how do you see that happening? Are you going to be doing this like all at once or in stages? Do you see us just maybe the outside first and then move to the inside?
Yeah, the way we're looking at it, we're watching to see what the governor's plan is. It looks like he's going to have a 3-phase plan, opening up certain businesses and places on phase 1, other businesses on phase 2. The third phase will be bars and the social clubs. So we will be in phase 3. So the club is going to, the state is going to be closed down at least till the 20th, and then they'll begin to phase it in. So, June 1 could be, a start date for us, but it could be postponed beyond that, depending on how they phase in requirements. Let's say Max Restaurant tonight, who was on the TV on an interview, what they're predicting is seats at the bar 6 feet apart, no standing at the bars, tables half the capacity in the restaurant. So we'll have to see what their recommendations are, and then we'll follow them, and we'll adapt them to the club as they come. So I would imagine in the next 2-3 weeks we'll have a better idea of how we can open, whether it's outside, inside, and how we phase it in.
Excellent. Look further for more updates on that to come. Let's move over to Lynn Pellegrini. Lynn, what's going on with the Women's Auxiliary, and how are people staying busy during this time?
Well, first thing I wanted to do is tell the ladies that they will be getting birthday cards and hope you're doing well cards from Jackie Lawson or Blue Mountain, so don't be afraid to accept those. For those of you that are having trouble with the e-blasts, I am going to load them onto the website, and you can check the website daily to get any updates that may have been put out there. So the e-blast will be there, and all of these announcements will also be there. We're doing our first ever swearing in of a new member over the video, welcoming Faye Krantz, who didn't quite make it in before the meetings got shut down. The board is enjoying talking with everyone and having lots of stories. My favorite complaint from everybody is their kids telling them that they can't go out. A little role reversal, and it's very touchy. So, and if your kids haven't been telling you that, it may not be that they don't love you, it's just that they're afraid of you.
I can completely sympathize with that. I have Dick Hill chained to a fence post out back. You can't leave
Yes.
the yard during daytime hours.
Yes, and it's much worse apparently if your kids live in town because they're afraid they're going to get caught, either by one of their kids or by a friend of one of their kids. So, and that I have to say that the kids are very happy with what we're doing for the older members with food, because it is quite a relief. Takes a little bit of the burden off of them, trying to take care of their families and their parents on top of it. So they're much appreciative also, besides the recipients. I have a couple of movie recommendations. Mine is called The Biggest Little Farm. It's family friendly. It's an amazing documentary story of a young man and his wife who decide to have a sustainable farm. And it's an incredible movie. You can see it on Amazon. It's not on Netflix. Elaine recommended Little Dorrit, which is also on Amazon. I have a story to tell. One member works stocking shelves at Stop and Shop. And from what I understand, she swears that they put out tons of toilet paper and paper towels every night. And they seem to be disappearing because the senior citizens who are allowed out at 6 o'clock in the morning into the stores are wiping out the supply. Now, maybe they're getting them for their kids also, but now we know where the toilet paper goes and that there really was some.
Leave it to the seniors.
Yep. So one of the members gave me a bunch and a half of bananas one day, left over from food share. And at the age of 90, she volunteers there. And they had to get rid of them because they were overripe. So I decided to make banana bread. So I looked up a banana bread recipe on Martha Stewart. And the first thing in the instructions were, take your pots and pans out of the oven before you turn the heat on. Which I then conveyed to another member who said, well, my daughter stores things in the dishwasher, which really sparked a thing with me because I'm short on space. So we don't use our dishwasher. So I actually started using my dishwasher as another cabinet and put all my things that I don't use very often in there. And I've opened up space everywhere else. So there's some project for you. I heard that Home Depot is running low on paint. Everybody's doing home improvement projects. And you know how it is. If you paint one room, you have to paint them all. I hear grandchildren are making out quite well on this. One woman's grandson or granddaughter got a wood dance floor. My granddaughter got a basketball hoop and a balance beam for the house. I also hear on the internet that the dog adoptions are down, and I understand that Susan and Davey are now the proud owner of a new puppy. So congratulations to them. And that's all I have.
Awesome. We're going to switch gears over to Chris Cody. Chris Cody, looking forward to an update. We'd like to hear how the Meals to Wheels thing is going, and also some update on the bocce league for men and how you suggest some type of decisions will be made. Chris, please. If I woke you up, I apologize.
So Mark, thank you. I'm going to try to take things in a little bit of a different direction because I know people are looking forward to when we finally get to open the club up. One of the things that I didn't realize from watching the Zoom broadcast tonight, I did not realize that COVID-19 knocked out the electricity in people's houses because it looks like Lynn and Paul are in the dark when they're doing their broadcast. They don't have any lights where they are. So, in any
Chris,
event,
those who live in glass houses,
let's
you remember
go
what happened
and
last
let's
week.
talk a little bit about this week. This week was supposed to be the start of bocce. Before we go into the bocce, we're going to talk a little bit about the food. People of the club have stepped up tremendously. There's probably right now 15 to 18 people who are cooking and have made commitments to make meals. So we've been delivering to anywhere between 18 and 21 people per trip when we go out twice a week. So if you know of anybody who's in need, please let me know. The blasts have gone out. So my thanks to them because they've done a great job, to all the cooks, all the people who've been driving. It's fantastic. We have bakers, desserts. So the feedback's been great on that. Again, this was supposed to be the first week of bocce. So we have it on delay right now until we open up the club. I was asked by Mark to talk to him a little bit more about what our plans are. So we'll have more of an update, but know that we will have a season. In the meantime, as we do our update, we should recognize that the champs are still the rum runners. Now they have an extended championship reign, which is fantastic. I talked to Brian Farrell this week. Brian,
let me know if you want me to cut him off at any point. Go ahead, Chris.
Brian would like me to remind everyone that the golf tournament is coming up. It's supposed to be the first Friday of August. We are still looking to have people put their foursomes together. We will be having the tournament this year. So at least get your guys together, start organizing in advance. So when the doors open to start taking money for this tournament, you'll be ready to go. Let's see here. I think I had another reminder. If I can find it here. Hang on one second. I'm looking.
Chris, just a quick comment. There's one member in particular who has been doing these cooking shows. It seems to have little to do about cooking, but everything else.
You'll have to pass on a Facebook recommendation at the end of this. We did have a birthday last week. I'm not sure who it was. Let me just see here. So I don't know if you can catch that. Happy birthday to Brian. Happy birthday to Brian Farrell. Hopefully everybody can see that. He had a birthday last Thursday. So we should make sure you blow up his text, send him emails, phone call him, and let him know that you're thinking about him since the club is closed. And lastly, I'd like to close my update for tonight. I don't know if anyone recognizes that the fact that the club has been closed, we've lost some dinner dances. We're going to lose a fundraiser for the Ladies Auxiliary with the Kentucky Derby in May. They have been working on another fundraiser. You can speak to Lynn or Marie about. I have some previews to it. It's the PTS Quarantine Collection. You can see it there. These are PTS approved house coats from Italy. So if you're interested in this collection, this is a fantastic way for the Women's Auxiliary to raise some money. Never a better time to look good in your house. Please speak to Lynn about it. And at this point, I'm going to turn it back to
Chris,
where we were before.
We'll get the order forms back on the website for that fundraiser. Paul, just one last question, then you can wrap up here. Is it true that Brian Farrell, your vice president, has been using the dumpster to trap raccoons? Please comment on this, and where are the proceeds from these skins going?
Well, he is trying to trap some raccoons because Al Zappalordi he's going to have a barbecue cookout this summer for his bocce team, because that's the only way they're going to get to a championship. In Alex, when he was in Italy, they used to eat them on a regular Sunday basis right before every bocce match.
Excellent, Paul. Go ahead and wrap up here.
Yeah. All right. I just got a couple other things to wrap before I wrap up. From a financial standpoint, dues are due at the end of the month. We have about 56 members that haven't paid yet, so get that money in. From a scholarship standpoint, both Jason and Sue Crosby, the due dates for scholarship applications are April 30th. If you have questions or have concerns or have issues on getting all the documentation you need, please contact them and they'll work with you to get those, whatever you need to get done, to get those scholarship applications in. Again, I'd like to thank Chris, his team, and varsity meeting, because I think it's good. The more we can communicate with our members and everybody knowing what's going on, the better we're all going to be. So look forward to eventually getting together and celebrating a little bit once the pandemic is behind us. Thanks, Mark, Lynn, and Chris.
Excellent.
Well, I think it'll be easy ordering on those gowns because they're one size fits all, apparently. Say, I was just thinking, you know how sports have been showing reruns of past things that have gone on. Perhaps we can run the whole entire video of the Guinness Book of World Records bocce tournament.
I was thinking maybe we run the Kentucky Derby and we might get the winners right this time.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I like it.
nice, fantastic. Anyway, don't wait. There's going to be limited supplies on these quarantine collections. One size fits most.
Excellent. Look for an update next week, folks. This is it. Say goodnight.
Stay safe.
Right.
Good night, Gracie.